Hello and welcome back to Mystic Motivation. My name is Zoe Arnold. I'm a lunar glamour witch, and welcome back to our series Moon Magic, where I give you a witch's guide to the month ahead, this month being June 2026. So we're going to dive into the moon cycles, what zodiac signs they'll be in, so how we can work with these moon cycles to align with our practices. We'll talk a little bit about the astrology for the month, and then we'll deep dive into some of the history and lore around this month, just as a way to dive deeper into our practice and work with the correspondences of this month in our magic. Of course, per usual, we'll end today's video with a collective tarot and oracle card reading, so be sure to stick around for that. And if you're not already, like this video, subscribe to this channel, and let's go ahead and dive right in. So let's talk about the moon cycles for the month ahead. Starting off early on June 8th, we have our last quarter moon that is happening in the sign of Pisces. So last quarter moons are all about releasing. So in the sign of Pisces, this could be releasing things inside of ourselves within our imagination, limiting beliefs that are really holding us back from what we're wanting to embrace creatively. And, in regards of like thought processes that could be more beneficial to us, what internalized belief systems are really no longer serving you? This is a good time to question those things. Around June 8th, the beginning of the month, just asking yourself going into the month ahead, what's limiting me? What can I release a bit? And to surrender rather than feeling like you have to do any big, huge emotional release. It's more of just an acknowledgement. When the last quarter moon is in Pisces, it is this kind of natural ebb and flow of emotions, a spiritual cleansing that can guide us to forgiveness and endings we may have been avoiding. So it's a less of a take action type energy and more of a what can I sigh out and just affirm is over. So this is a good time in your practice to do cord cuttings. You could do cleansing baths, or you could do any sort of water magic. Again, thinking of Pisces, this water sign energy that works with emotions. So we can also do dream work here as a way to dive into our deeper inner world, our subconscious, and bring those internalized beliefs to the surface to be removed or released. Some correspondences for June 8th's last quarter moon in Pisces include the amethyst, the moonstone, labradorite, and aquamarine. And then some herbs you might be attracted to could be mugwort, jasmine, lavender, or the blue lotus. These very dreamy, water sign, emotional correspondences. So take what resonates, leave the rest. Whatever you're drawn to around this time will be perfectly fine. You don't have to overcomplicate your practice. But we are starting off the month in this more reflectionary energy. So let yourself go into June with the mindset of new beginnings, clean slates. We then cross over into our new moon in Gemini around June 14th, 15th, depending on your time zone. But Gemini is an air sign. So when we tap into this air sign, very dual energy around a new moon, which is often used during times of manifestation, a lot of us in our practices may use the new moon to manifest. We can start to see things from this kind of clean slate we've created to see an old perspective versus a new perspective, and really feel like we have the inner authority to make a new decision, a new leap of faith moving forward as we manifest. So because Gemini is an air sign, this is about our, again, like internalized beliefs, our thought systems. So a great way to manifest with this new moon at the beginning point of the month, it's still early on, is to really manifest through your words, to affirm through affirmations internally or externally, or even through journaling, the new version of yourself or the new thing you're wanting to call in, the new thing you want to cultivate to come to fruition within your life. This is also a great time for learning, networking, communication, connections. So if anything you're trying to bring into your life revolves around that, we can really tap into this Gemini energy. There's a dual side to each of us. So we can really work with this energy that allows us to embrace another face of ourselves that we might not yet fully embody, but is definitely a potential that we can grow and learn to become part of. So again, writing can be helpful here. This is also a good sign to work with Gemini during the new moon to increase visibility. Again, I want to emphasize this energy that allows us to embody, to acknowledge, to almost like create an archetype of who we want to become. And we kind of work with that archetype of ourselves as like a deity that we can begin to, learn wisdom from, we can embody energy from, and show up differently in our worlds as a means to manifest. This is all about changing mental patterns intentionally, if that aligns with your practice and what you're seeking during this new moon. But in general, this is a very speak it into existence type new moon. So some ritual ideas could be scripting. It could be glamour magic through visibility, glamour magic working with your voice, and maybe an aesthetic that aligns to the version of yourself you want to embody. Take that as it resonates. All of our practices will be different, but maybe some rituals revolving around shaping your life to look more like the life you're trying to call in. It could also be as simple as just speaking affirmations out loud. Some crystals you may feel drawn to during this new moon are fluorite, citrine, blue lace agate, or clear quartz. And some herbs that really resonate with this Gemini energy could be lemon balm, it could be fennel seeds, thyme, or peppermint. Now we have a very special first quarter moon that lands on June 21st. It's in the sign of Libra, but what makes this first quarter moon so special is that June 21st is also our Sabbat Litha. So we'll talk about our Sabbat in a minute here. We'll pinpoint that. But first quarter moons in general are all about amplifying the manifestations we ask for or set into place during the new moon. So what's interesting is that we also have this other air sign energy, Libra, that also represents duality. So we're really being pushed this month to face and embrace the two sides of ourselves, to see who we are and potential, to embrace the past and the potential future. Libra can also be about this, this kind of like law and order type energy. It's about truth. It's about integrity. So this first quarter moon can also be asking, how serious are you about that intention you set? Do you really want this? And are you ready to let go of what no longer serves you in order to actually alchemize that reality? We can think of like the Justice card in tarot, which is the Libra card. Not only does she hold the scales, but she also holds the sword. So sometimes in order to bring things into balance, to alchemize the things we want into our reality, we also have to cut anything out of our life that is no longer serving us. So this could be as simple as balancing rest and ambition, or this could be on the more difficult side of things, having to work through any internalized people-pleasing, self-limitations that are holding you back from what you're desiring. But Libra in general is about balance. It's about relationships. It can also be about beauty. There's an aspect of harmony and values when it comes to this Libra energy as well, really getting in touch with your inner truth. Although Libra is an air sign, it does have this very Venusian energy because this is one of the signs that Venus rules over. So you can also work through at this time any limitations of self-worth when it comes to what you're desiring. So some ritual ideas could be Venusian practices. You could do altar beautification. Again, we're kind of getting, I might be biased here, but glamour magic could be helpful in general. You could do self-love spells or any sort of dancing embodiment rituals. Visualization meditations around what you're wanting to work towards could be helpful as well. We then move into our full moon happening on June 29th. This full moon is in Capricorn. Now, this full moon is also called the strawberry new moon. And in general, full moons are all about releasing. It's kind of like the final clearing after we set a manifestation of, okay, truly I've shed the skins of anything that no longer serves me. And now I'm ready to kind of step forward into, it's a very Fool card type energy. You're just taking this leap of faith where it looks kind of scary. You might fall off a cliff, but there's also the potential that you might fly. So full moons can often ask us to be very brave, especially when it's in the sign of Capricorn, this very stable, grounded energy. It's asking us to be practical at the same time that it's asking us to take that leap of faith. Again, kind of coming through with that dual energy of two truths or two energies needing to be present at once. With it being in Capricorn, an earth sign that is very grounded, it's also saying the vision looks great, right? You're gonna trust yourself and take that leap of faith, but also be realistic in how you need to build that vision. So in general, Capricorn energy can be about discipline. It can be about career goals, long-term goals in general, responsibility, legacy, ambition, and structure. So this full moon can really illuminate within your manifestation one of two things. One, what you're really mastering in your life and in your goals right now, or two, where you might be too much in your internal world, avoiding the work that's needed to get to where you want to go. And maybe both is true at once. But Capricorn full moons can sometimes feel emotionally strained, feeling like it's a bit contradictory. Maybe it feels a little bit too logical at points where you're not seeing too much creative vision. So it's important to remember the manifestations you set during the new moon and just apply a bit more logic and structure to that moving forward. So some helpful rituals you could do could be money bowl workings, any type of prosperity work. You could do some proper business planning as a ritual, or just some sort of commitment ritual for yourself. Just really solidifying the structure that's going to help you to get to where you want to go. Some crystals you may feel drawn to could be black tourmaline, tiger's eye, obsidian, garnet, or smoky quartz. Some herbs you might be drawn to could be two of my favorites, patchouli or rosemary, as well as cedar or bay leaf. Now that we've talked about the moon cycles and the energy that they'll bring, let's talk about more of the consistent background energy that will be happening throughout June, talking about our two zodiac signs for the month, Gemini and Cancer. So up until June 20th, we'll be in the sign of Gemini, which we talked a little bit about before in the moon cycles, what this energy is like. It is this air sign energy. It's just very dual energy, but it's also about communication and relationships. So we have this kind of background energy that's getting us to focus on that, highlighting communication, relationships, perspective, even storytelling. It could be the stories we tell ourselves or the way we communicate with others, which portrays a story. But to pay extra close attention to that in the month of June could be beneficial in building connections. And of course, this will be more deeply highlighted in any area that you have Gemini in your chart. You may want to investigate that if you feel drawn to. But in general, this could be a push to embrace more of your extroverted self, however much of that resides within you, but to reconnect with being social. You could find a beneficial connection. Who knows? We then switch into the zodiac sign of Cancer, our water sign, June 21st. So we switch into this very watery, emotional energy. While Gemini was asking us to kind of tap into the outside world and network a little bit, we then kind of turn into the crab of Cancer and we're drawn to our internal emotional world. So we may feel more of a connection to being at home, to being around family, friends, loved ones that we feel close to and emotionally safe with. We may feel drawn to protection work or just protecting what's good. And we may in general just feel more drawn to those warm, cozy, happy vibes in the back half of the month. This is a good way to connect with your intuition after moving out of Gemini, which is asking you to kind of outsource your energy a little bit, to explore outside of you, to question things outside of you and the role that they're playing, and then to bring it back home again, to root it into stable, calmer waters. So a good way to connect with this Cancer season in general could be any water rituals, of course, working with the water element, but also doing things with the home. You can connect with your home spirit. You can do some kitchen witchery, some cottage witchery, home cleansing of self, prioritizing self-care. And that's a great way to utilize and maximize Cancer season. But June is this very dual, two-faced in the best way type month. Trust what you're drawn to. Everything will play out as it's meant to. But when we know a bit of the energy that's going to be happening, we can plan out our magic a little bit more, know what to expect, and make it easier on ourselves. So now let's circle back to June 21st, where we have our first quarter moon, but also the Sabbat Litha. So Litha is a pagan Sabbat celebrating the summer solstice. It's the official start of summer. It's the longest day of the year and the peak of solar power. So this is a wonderful time to connect with solar energy, solar deities, fire, passion, fertility, and taking action towards those desired goals of yours. This is the height of the sun god's power in many pagan traditions. The earth is fertile, abundant, and overflowing, and you may see that depending on where you live as well, where you notice a lot more animals, everything's very green and bloom. And this represents our energy as well as aspects of nature. Embrace that which within you has bloomed and really work off of that, utilize that energy. Now, in a lot of pagan traditions, they didn't only acknowledge that this was the peak of sun solar energy, but also that there would soon come a descent. In many pagan traditions, kind of the basis of a lot of witchcraft is the fact that everything is cyclical. We are nature, so we will always come around the bend again to the opposite side of the season. So there was this kind of acknowledgement that yes, we're at the peak, but soon things will start to flow in a way where we have to pay attention to how energy is progressing, and not in a way of stressing out towards that, but just utilizing the wisdom, recharging your energy during this summer solstice to really move forward through the rest of the year that's nearly halfway over, to kind of like how you muster up your strength, your energy to handle the rest of what's to come. But it was just seen as a very symbolic time in nature that gives you deep perspective on life, just like any Sabbat does. Now, there are a lot of roots that tie into the Sabbat Litha. There's Germanic traditions, there's Celtic traditions, Celtic fire festivals, and European midsummer celebrations. In many of these cultures in general, they worked with bonfires. Historically, they were lit on top of hilltops, and they were used for fertility, for blessings, protection, specifically warding off any negative or evil spirits. People would dance around these flames and even believed that if you jumped over the fire, you were solidifying your luck and fertility for the season. This was a time to gather herbs and to stay awake through the shortest night of the year. Now, during Samhain, a Sabbat that is commonly known for the veil being thin, the opposite side of the wheel is Litha, where that too is a Sabbat where the veil is thin. So in general, some common practices done during Litha were bonfires, sun worshiping, solar deity worshiping, music, dancing, gathering herbs, blessing your crops, making sun wheels, making flower crowns, fertility rites, river and water rituals, and making offerings to nature spirits or fae. You can work with whatever resonates with you during the Sabbats, but some common herbs that were used during Litha include rosemary, yarrow, sunflower, St. John's wort, and lavender. Crystals included the sunstone, carnelian, tiger's eye, citrine, amber. And in general, the witchcraft lore and energy around June was enhanced magic around fertility, abundance, protection, passion, and growth. If you showed up and you had a successful summer solstice celebration, whatever you asked for in regards to those energy types were trusted to be given to you. And the more fun you had during Litha, the more abundant your magic for the rest of the summer season. Now, the month of June is often connected to the Roman goddess Juno. She was a goddess of marriage, women, protection. So historically, June was seen as a wonderful time for marriage, for hand fasting. It was seen as a very lucky month. Herbs were potent, dreams were prophetic, water sources became spiritually charged, and the spirits, like we said before, with the veil being thin, were more active. There's a reason that June has this very dual connective energy, and it's more than just the astrology. It's because of these ancient traditions. June has been treated like a sacred threshold for centuries. So embrace the season as that. In whatever way works with your magic, with your practice, see two sides of the coin. Embrace the two sides of yourself. This is most certainly a season of magic. With that being said, let's transition into our collective reading for us witches, June 2026, and see what messages want to come out of how we can make June even more magical for us individually. So we are going to start with some tarot. Let's see what the month of June 2026 has in store for us. Now, this is interesting. We have the Ace of Pentacles along with the Nine of Wands in reverse and the Queen of Swords. Now, the Ace of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords was immediately giving me the full moon in Capricorn, earth sign energy, with the new moon in Gemini, earth sign energy, and then this in-between fiery energy of what we can work through to fully balance the full energy of this month. Are you seeing the duality here? Because I most definitely am. So it's almost this message reassuring, Ace of Pentacles, the manifestations you have for the month of June, what you want to fertilize, what you want to prosper, especially tapping into this Sabbat Litha, is in the palm of your hands. But it will require a very direct perspective shift with the Queen of Swords here, this very self-assured, clear perspective, clear vision to move you forward in that abundant position. We have to release this wounded warrior energy, these past identities or these past situations that have claimed too much of your energy for too long. Is it a self-limiting belief, people-pleasing habits, or even environments or people that still have access to you, whether literally or in your mind, that are almost like siphoning your energy, distracting your energy, pulling your intention from fully tapping into your magic, internal wisdom, and clear perspective of how to move forward? We're going to tap into the Witch's Oracle here to get a confirming message. Very interesting. We have the Holy Stone protection. Now, the Holy Stone, I know that it was common in lore, witchcraft lore, that a hag stone was a stone that had a hole in it, if I'm not mistaken, and that was often seen as a stone that would bring you protection. There's this reminder to protect what is sacred to you, that being your energy, your intentions, what you want to cultivate in your life is sacred. And you must show up as a warrior, right? Taking the opposite of the Wounded Warrior card, show up as a warrior to protect what is yours. The month of June is saying what you are desiring will come to fruition if you're willing to show up, release what's no longer serving you, and to embrace that clear vision of what you're wanting to manifest. Short and sweet message this month, but it felt very clear. I have no doubts that this month of June will be prosperous for us and this collective. I am truly grateful to the witch on the other side of the screen or listening on the other side of the podcast, wherever you are, for being here, for showing up, and for tapping into the magic of June, reclaiming witchcraft history as a form of empowerment, and believing in your own magic. Be sure to like this video if you haven't already, to follow this podcast to stay up to date. I have new episodes every Thursday, and once a month, we always go into the next month ahead's magic and moon cycles. You can check me out on social media at I am Zoe Arnold on TikTok and Instagram, and you can find more of my work linked in bio, as well as my online coven. I'll put more details in the caption down below. We are gathering on June 21st for a celebration of Litha, so if you'd like to dive deeper into that, be sure to check it out. Much love, witches, and I'll see you back here soon.